Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. Um, yeah, okay. Shruti, thanks for presenting. Yeah, it's visible. Uh, so we'll wait for maybe 2 more minutes. I think some people are yet to arrive. Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. Um, yeah, okay. Shruti, thanks for presenting. Yeah, it's visible. Uh, so we'll wait for maybe 2 more minutes. I think some people are yet to arrive. Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. Um, yeah, okay. Shruti, thanks for presenting. Yeah, it's visible. Uh, so we'll wait for maybe 2 more minutes. I think some people are yet to arrive. Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. Um, yeah, okay. Shruti, thanks for presenting. Yeah, it's visible. Uh, so we'll wait for maybe 2 more minutes. I think some people are yet to arrive. Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. Um, yeah, okay. Shruti, thanks for presenting. Yeah, it's visible. Uh, so we'll wait for maybe 2 more minutes. I think some people are yet to arrive. Okay, hello everyone. Good evening. Um, yeah, okay. Shruti, thanks for presenting. Yeah, it's visible. Uh, so we'll wait for maybe 2 more minutes. I think some people are yet to arrive. Okay. Hi everyone. So I think we'll begin now. So
Okay,
welcome
hello
to
everyone.
this
Good
open source
evening.
session by BITS Goa Women
Um,
in Tech.
yeah,
You
okay.
must already
Shruti,
know
thanks for presenting. Yeah,
about
it's visible.
BITS Goa Women
Uh,
in Tech. Can the speakers please
so we'll
switch
wait
on their
for maybe
cameras?
2 more minutes. I
So I'll
think
introduce the
some
speakers.
people are yet to arrive.
Hi
Okay.
Sayani, hi Shruti. Hi everyone.
Hello.
So I think we'll begin now. So
Okay,
welcome
hello
to this
everyone. Good
open source
evening.
session by BITS Goa Women in Tech.
Shruti, yeah,
You
okay.
must already
Shruti,
know
thanks for
Shruti has spoken
presenting.
to
Yeah, it's
you
visible.
about
Move to the next
BITS
slide.
Goa Women in Tech.
Yeah.
Can the
So
speakers please
so we'll
they're
wait
both
for maybe two
students
minutes.
of BITS
I
Goa. So
think
I'll introduce the
and
speakers.
some
So
people are.
Shruti Sridhar is dualite. She has MSc Biology and BE Chemical, and she participated in the Google Summer of Code in 2021 in Debian Med. Sayani is a single degree student. She has a BE in ECE, and she participated in Outreachy 2021 in Eclipse Adoptium. So, Shruti will speak first. Shruti, are you good to go?
Yes, sure. Great.
Okay, cool.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Shruti and I'm a dual degree student. So my journey into sort of open source is extremely unconventional. It's not your traditional journey of sort of getting introduced and then finding your way through. I'm a dualite from bio and chemical. So the only computer science course I've had is C programming, that too in first year. So after that, I really did not have any opportunity to sort of explore um, this field and get used to it. But then the pandemic hit in 2020, and I think at that time was the cusp when I was like going into my fifth year thesis as well, and everything sort of shut down. And at that at that point, I had the chance to now actually had a lot of time on my hands to sort of explore other interests as well, and that's how I sort of got introduced to open source. And a huge domain itself, I found that quite a lot of times there was a missing link for people who knew how to analyze the data as well as create the data. So that sort of hybrid was what I wanted to achieve. And luckily, my project at Debian Med was also bioinformatics in nature. So my project basically surrounded writing test suites for the Debian Med operating system and for all their life science packages. So it was very interesting in the sense that I got to now speak to authors who had like the biology background itself. So that really helped me in solidifying what I wanted to do after my master's. So my PhD applications are actually based off of my Google Summer of Code experience, because I really liked the way I could see like a pipeline through. So I could see how I can create the data, and now I can see how I can make others use the analysis that I got out, as well as contribute to the field. So yeah, I think my whole career trajectory took like a really interesting turn after this experience. So just about the timeline that I followed, was I started contributing to Debian well in advance. So I think I'd started almost like 6 to 7 months before the application period, and started getting myself used to the team and the type of work. Um, Again, for me, most of my work was figuring out the right sort of data sets to use for designing meaningful tests. So it played into my bio side of things. So that kind of worked. And then and then sort of just talking to the mentor and seeing where you can fit in. And yeah, luckily I got through, and yeah, that's sort of been my journey. So unconventional, but reached the last stage, and couldn't be more thankful for it. Yeah, I mean, if there are any questions, I can answer, but otherwise, I'm happy to like yield the floor to Sayani and then take it forward.
Okay, does anyone have any questions? You guys can turn on your mics and ask, or you can type in the chat. Okay, there are some general questions that we got in the form that we circulated. So, there are some questions like how should I choose the project, and a good knowledge of what platforms is necessary, like GitHub, etc. Yeah, this is
So
one
I would
question.
say, like, for me, I think Saini would be better to answer this question, because mine was in an extremely specific niche. So I predominantly, the only platform I could recommend was like to have a solid knowledge of GitHub, which took me a while to also like sort of familiarize, because it is a learning curve. But apart from that, in terms of choosing the project, I would say play to your strengths, because that's kind of what you have. That's the edge that you get. So and that is sort of what worked for me, because I knew I could give a perspective no one else had in the team. That if I am designing like test suites, I needed the bio knowledge that I had to be able to contribute meaningfully. So I definitely would suggest you play to your strengths, and it should not just be strengths in the terms of the platforms or the technology that you know, but also in terms of what you bring in terms of skill sets to the team and to your mentor. So that is the differentiating factor between you and all the other applicants that are out there.
All right, we'll move on to Sayani, and at the end, we'll take all the questions at once, I guess. Yeah, Sayani.
Okay, so hello, and I'm Sayani, and I was an Outreachy intern last summer from May to August. And so let me tell you about Outreachy, which is like a very not as famous as GSoC, but then it is very similar to GSoC. Like it is actually a paid remote internship program, which is very similar to GSoC, but the only exception is that it is meant for groups which are underrepresented in tech. And it like provides internships to work for open source, and the interns are paid a stipend of 7,000 USD for 3-month internship, and you have to like devote around uh, 30 hours per week for at least 12 weeks, like 3 months, minimum 12 weeks, and it can like extend depending upon the work. And so interns here work with experienced mentors from the various open source communities. The project list is usually there in the Outreachy website. So I'll put a link for the Outreachy website later on. And this, however, does not only include programming projects. So it includes the UX, UI designing, documentations, technical writing, graphical design, machine learning internships as well. Next slide, please. Thanks. So now talking about when you can apply for it. So now Outreachy internships, unlike GSoC or other open source program, they run twice a year. That is from May to August and December to March. And so basically Indian students are like considered to be in the Northern Hemisphere. So they can apply in the May to August round. And depending on the hemisphere you are in, you can like go for the December to March round or in the May to August round. But mostly Indian students, I have found that majority of the Indian students usually apply for the May to August round, although I've also found that some students do apply even for the winter session. Now, some of the eligibility criteria which I would like to discuss are that Outreachy has a condition that if you have participated in GSoC once, then you cannot participate in Outreachy. So if you have not participated in GSoC before, then you are eligible to participate in Outreachy. And this Outreachy is not open only to students. It is also like open to the working professionals, like those who are looking for career switches or those who have free time for 3 months and they want to contribute to open source or start their career. So it becomes a bit competitive because also the number of applicants are huge, but only 70 or 60 to 70 students are selected from all over the world for each phase. And also they are very particular about the academic calendar of this college if you're a student. Like if there is any overlap between your exam dates or your class dates and the internship period, then they will directly like deem you ineligible and will send you a rejection message. Now moving forward to the next slide, Shruti. Yeah, so now coming to the application period overview. So now it has a slightly different like format than the other conventional programs. So it has an initial application round, a contribution period, and a final application. So for this year, the initial application period has already started from 4th Feb to 25th Feb. Now, in this initial application, what happens is the applicants are required to fill out an application form and they determine the eligibility and they submit their like course schedule when their exams are ending and are they free to take out some time for the internships and all. And also they have to submit some essay questions. And the essay questions are basically based on like, why do you think you'll be eligible, or why do you think we should, like, you should get a chance? Why do you think you're underrepresented in tech? Because as I said, it is for the underrepresented people mostly. So here also they get like Outreachy initial applications along with the essays. They all have to be submitted in one go. Like you cannot do like save your application and then resume it later. So once you start filling out the application form, fill it through till the end, submit it, and that's the initial application period. And this year it is ending on 25th Feb 2022. Then after almost 1 month, they will give you the results of whether your initial application has been approved or not. That is basically after checking the eligibility criteria and whether they think that you really can do well and stuff. They will send you a message that you have now you have progressed to the contribution period, and now you should, like, you can go through the project list and you can contact your mentors and you can discuss the projects which they have already put out before and how you can contribute. And basically in the contribution period, you are required to make at least one contribution to be able to move forward to the next round, which is the final application round. So in the contribution period, it's a bit competitive with a large number of like contributors contributing to each of the projects. And there, the most important points for the contribution period are that have a very clear communication with your mentors on what the project prospects are, how the project can be grown in future, what you think about the project, and also bring in innovative ideas. So basically, during this time, after making all the contributions, you have to like register your contributions in the page in the portal, which will be provided by Outreachy once you progress to the next round. And finally, this year, it's 25th March to April 22nd, you get the time for the contribution period of 1 month. And after that, if you have at least one contribution, then you are eligible to fill the final application form. Now, in the final application, it's basically a list of all the contributions you have made till now, and also certain questions which the community, the open source community will ask to you, like you have to submit it in an essay format. So it's basically about the past experience of the community, the particular community you were contributing to, or if you have any past open source community experience, like any other community you have contributed to, any relevant projects you had before like applying, and also how you propose to like complete the project, an expected timeline, which is a very tentative one. They don't expect anything like very solid from you, but a lump sum estimate of when you propose to end the project, when how you propose to divide your work into like fragments and complete them. You know, the divide and conquer method. And after this, you submit the final application. Then the mentors get some time to decide who will be selected. And the selection is not only based on the number of contributions, but also on the basis of the quality of the contributions you make. And also your communication, your adaptability. Like in my case, with Eclipse Adoptium, the mentors had a very like different requirement. They had that we want interns who would know Docker, would know Ant. Ant is actually a Java kind of, like a derivative kind of language, a script kind of language that it is very uncommon for me. It was very uncommon, and I didn't know that. So, but what they saw was how you can adapt to the community, how you can learn things quickly and without complaining, and how you can basically get involved with the community. So based on this, you will get your final selection or rejection. If you're lucky, just hope for the best that you get selected. And um, yeah, so basically now this was all about the outreachy period, like how and what happened, like how you usually have to submit your applications and stuff. Now with me, the thing was when I first started my development uh, when I was in my first year, but basically it started when the pandemic also started, and I was able to contribute more time to development. And open source was a very very good way of learning how to actually contribute to like industrial level projects, because you actually get projects which are in production level, and you get to know from the mentors and other contributors. You know, a community based learning is always kind of better than just learning like yourself. So I didn't have it in mind that I will be like even applying to GSoC or Outreachy, but it happened quite it was quite natural that I actually got involved with the community, because I really liked the mentors, the way they like actually taught me how to like even debug a production level software, which I didn't know at that time. So uh, then when I started contributing for GSoC, and then due to the revised timelines of GSoC, that the reduced stipend and the reduced time which was given to each of the projects, some of the projects actually opted out of GSoC and they moved to Outreachy. So similarly with Eclipse Adoptium also, I also started looking at the Outreachy website, and then I saw that some of the projects they ring a bell with me. So I thought of contributing to those projects, and they really turned out to be like very, helpful in understanding the basic stuff. And then in the application period, when it was like I sat for like 3 hours and completed the entire application, writing about your experience with open source and why you think you're underrepresented, because women are actually underrepresented in tech. So I also included many statistics in the application form. Like many have already DM'd me and asked that how to fill the initial application form. So basically, in that, what you need to do, you have to write your personal experience, how and why you feel that you should be given a chance in Outreachy, why you think you that your community or from like women are underrepresented in tech. And you can give at statistics also, like in India, what is the percentage of women who are working in various levels, and and stuff like that, and also the academic thing. And also one other thing that someone had asked me was whether you can pursue uh, like PS1 along with Outreachy. So yeah, I did both PS1 and Outreachy at the same time. There was no like problem or clash. You can handle it. If you can handle it, then it's very good, and mostly you'll be able to do that. So no worries about that. Then in the contribution period, after 1 month, when I got the like email that now I have progressed to the contribution period. So now the first thing was actually contacting my mentors, because they were a bit the mentors were different from the ones I had worked with previously. So the mentors were like very helpful. They set out some good first issues to start with, and also we helped each other, the community, the other contributors, and also helped me a lot, and I also helped them. And at the end of 1 month, I had actually 11 PRs, pull requests, which were merged in the project. So that was like something a very big deciding factor. And the mentors were very happy that I actually got involved in the community a lot. And so they selected me. And after Outreachy, like during my Outreachy tenure, I also got the opportunity to be an open source mentor for Grasshopper conference and the open source day, which is organized by them. And that is also for mentoring the project Eclipse Adoptium. That is the same project under which I was doing Outreachy, the same project I was also mentoring for OSD. And then I also got the opportunity to be a speaker at EclipseCon. It is the Eclipse community, so I got a speaker to be at to be a presenter. I got to present my project and what I've done in the conference, and it was a really really nice experience, and I really learned a lot from it. So if you're looking forward to learn a lot, to improve your development skills and also improve your connections, your network, and also get some stipend while properly utilizing your summertime, then I would really recommend you apply to Outreachy. So that's all from my side. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Sayani, and thank you, Shruti. We'll take questions now. If any of you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. Meanwhile, I'll ask some FAQs that we received in the form. Um, so, firstly, like a lot of these people, they're very confused about like how to choose a project, like how to look through, like because there are so many projects on the website. So how do you shortlist them? So if you guys have any inputs on that.
So for me, it was very simple. I had to see what I would get out of the project. So for me, I wanted to understand how I can now translate this to either my thesis that I'm doing, or how could I translate it to later on in my career. So I was looking for a very specific skill set that I wanted to gain from the project. So it became very easy for me to look at what projects resonated with me and what didn't. And that also got me started in contributing to the projects that I'd selected. So that was my rationale behind applying for projects.
So basically, how I selected my project was basically I saw that it had the requirements were a bit different, but the number of contributors to that project was a bit less. So the competitors were also less, and the competition was less, and also the fact that I had already worked with the community before, it was an important factor. And then secondly, the skill set which they required. I had kind of knowledge, not a very good knowledge of Docker, but they required a lot of Docker shell scripting. Like my entire project was based on shell scripting, Python, Java, and a little bit of unconventional softwares. And I actually knew shell scripting a lot. I had made some applications using, like, basically I had some knowledge of that. And so the skill set and my knowledge matched, and therefore I chose the project which I like contributed to.
All right. So, a lot of these people in the talk, they're very new to open source, and in fact, some of them are in their first year. Some of them are like just starting with programming, like they know a bit of C, but nothing else. So, how would you like recommend that they get started with open source? Like some people, they're confused about the tools that you have to use, like while doing open source, such as GitHub, like how to get comfortable with that, and like how to maybe explore the first issues, that kind of thing, and what like because they don't know anything, like so how should they begin? That's what they want to know.
Yeah, that is right up my alley because I was exactly there. Absolutely from like zero and starting from ground up, and then now hopefully getting like a bioinformatic like PhD is like a huge trajectory and a learning curve that I went through in the last like 2 years. But all I can say is ask questions. Like the first thing I did was assume that there are no stupid questions and ask. So the community is very, very open to helping newcomers and leverage collaborations and ask what you want to ask upfront. And one more thing I really found useful was brainstorming with my mentors. So they were actually open to sitting on a call with me and talking to me about what ideas I had about how the project can be taken forward, not just this year, but 2 years forward, and how you can get more people involved in the project. So first thing is to ask, and they will provide you resources to get you started. And once you have that foundation, it's very easy to move up from there. And I remember how nervous I was for the first PR, and like how absolutely scared it was, even like sending a mail on the mailing list, because you're like, okay, this is going to get stored and people can read all my questions. But I would say the communities that use it and ask your questions because they're here to help, and they've started from where you're starting. And I think that's something that really helped.
Yeah, so I completely agree. And one thing that actually helped me a lot was that I had participated in many other like open source beginner program also, like Girl Script Summer of Code, and also like you can start contributing to the projects with the skill set that you know. Like maybe if you have learned some javascript, or maybe you know a little bit of html or css, then maybe you can even start with fixing a typo in some like any projects like circuit verse. Like they're very beginner friendly projects, like or you can also like maybe go through any past, you know, there are many repositories which will also list out the beginners or the first PRs to be made. And from there, you can like ask your mentors. So basically, the key point is asking, asking, and asking. Just ask your doubts, and like you will get to know a lot. Like you will even get to know how to make a PR. When I first started, I didn't even know that you have to make a branch separately and then push it to GitHub and stuff. But like I learned it all through contributing, through making beginner like small steps of contribution. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, so like you guys are talking a lot about contacting mentors. So there is a question on that. How do you contact mentors, and what platform is preferred to talk to mentors, and like how do you approach mentors? This is something that some people have asked.
So the way I did it was I joined the mailing list and I saw a problem that interested me. Like there was a bug that that I was like, okay, I know what to do here, and that got me started. And then I got talking to my mentor, and then he told me, why don't you apply to GSoC or Outreachy for that instance, so that at least you can formalize the work that you're doing, and you can see some tangible output out of it. So again, it just grew from a place of sheer curiosity and wanting to find out how I can and how I can get started, that I reached out to my mentor.
Yeah, so even I joined the Slack channel and the IRC channels mailing list, and from there only I contacted. So the best thing is, if you are not able to find the contact or the Slack link or anything, just go to the repository, and if you see any any issue that interests you, comment on that. The uh, the mentor or anyone in the community will surely get back to you, and from there you can just take the conversation to like give me the help me join the community. So they'll be most happy because open source is all about collaboration and community. So
All right. Um, so let me see if there are any questions that we haven't covered yet. Um, so
I think
yeah, there is a question on how somebody is very new to GitHub and uh, so she's asking what should I do in order to understand the different options and get accustomed to version control. Uh, I guess that's what Sayani already said about making small contributions and learning through them. Anything else that you guys want to add to that?
for me, it was through working with a project with my friends. So I think five of us came together and we wanted to create like a package for like weekly deployment for another side project that we were doing, and that's how I familiarized myself. And it was okay to make mistakes within friends because they'll sit with you and they'll explain to you like what to do and how it works. So that's also one route you can explore, because I'm more of a person who learned through making mistakes and like figuring it out rather than listening to like a lecture or a video and understanding what to do. So that's something y'all can try out. It worked for me, but it might work for y'all as well. But I think the important thing is don't get scared. Like make mistakes, learn as you go along, because you have enough time to readapt and learn from where you are.
All right,
yeah,
for some
so
people,
exactly. Yeah,
oh,
please.
just a minute. Sorry, I'm sorry. You can go ahead. I was just, I'm sorry.
No, no, Ishita, I was just saying that, yeah, exactly, that's it. And you can also, because mostly none of us have collaborated. We only work on personal projects. So we do not usually know the things of, branching and merging and stuff. So what you can do is, there are many hackathons which are like organized by MLH or other even colleges, or even our college organizes so many hackathons during sometimes, and even DevFest by DevSoc. So you can like get your friends together, work on a project, and through that you will learn a lot of Git, because I did that personally when I first worked on the a DevFest project hackathon. So I basically learned a lot during that time also. So yeah.
All right, Shruti Rastogi, can we move to the next slide? Because some people are asking for the speaker's contact. So, yeah, these are the LinkedIn URLs of the speakers. You guys can contact them there. Um, okay. Also, you'll find them on the groups as well, BITS Goa Women in Tech WhatsApp and Telegram groups. So you can also DM them there. Uh, Yeah, also here's the link tree of BITS Women in Tech. So if you guys want to go to the website or the YouTube channel or the Instagram page, you can also follow us there. So you'll get updates about any other talks that we have, and we also record all the talks that we have, so you can find the previous recordings and in fact even this recording there. Um, all right. I don't think there are any other questions. Um, Let me just check one last time. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There is one question. It's about what tech stacks to know. Like if somebody is absolutely like they just don't know anything. Like so, what tech stack should they learn to maximize their chances of getting into GSoC or Outreachy? That is one question that's being asked. Do you have any inputs to that?
Yeah, Sayani, please feel free to answer this.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, like in GSoC or Outreachy, there are various kinds of projects. You'll get projects based on Python, Java, JavaScript, even HTML, CSS, or maybe even technical writing, UI, UX designing, and stuff. So basically, just choose what you want to do. If you want to go into ML, then maybe start out with learning Python and then like learn the libraries and apply them in projects. If you want to do web development, then start with HTML, CSS, then JavaScript, then maybe any CSS framework like Bootstrap or anything. Then start with React. If you want to go for Android development, then learn Java, Kotlin, or like cross platform or anything. So basically start with the very basic of any stream you choose. Now there are large number of projects in Python for GSoC, and in Outreachy mostly I've seen that the projects are little bit based on web development, like more inclined towards it. But this is what I observed, of course, but it may not be the same this year. So like start with the basics, and then if that interests you, go ahead with that, and that will surely maximize your chances. So the most important thing is that you're interested in what you're doing and you know what you're doing. So with that, you'll be able to like maximize your chances for Outreachy or for GSoC.
In my case, I reverse engineered. So most of the bio projects had R and Perl. So for me, it was more of reverse engineering from where I am to where I want to be, and then sort of figure out what I had to learn to cover up the deficit.
Okay, there's also another question on like how to manage like your ACADS with this, because midsems and compres, they both come during this time, like when you're making all those contributions. So like how did you guys manage your time like with respect to ACADS and open source both?
Okay, I was doing my thesis at that time. So for me, I had like my 4-1 internship for the 4-2 internship for the summer, and my 5-1 was sort of no, yeah. At that time, my thesis had just sort of started, and I was working on lab work there. So in that sense, it was pretty straightforward to manage, because my first half of the day went off in the lab, and the second half of the day went off with open source. So yeah, I think it was doable in that way. The way time got divvied up.
It was a bit hectic for me, especially second year electronics, and along with that open source. So what I usually did, and it was like not a very good idea to do, I attended very few classes. Like I attended the classes of all the 4 unit courses, and some of the courses I liked. I took one or two courses light, and I used to contribute to open source and this community usually from evening, and in the morning whatever classes were there I attended. And then before the midsems, one or two like health, I took them, like humanities, I took them a bit light and completed them before midsems only, midsems or compre. And so yeah, it was a bit hectic, but then it happened. Like I had to like manage it somehow, because I just liked what I was doing in open source. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. But like you mentioned, like, but you wish you hadn't done it this way. So like,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
would
yeah.
you think?
So basically, I think that what I do now, because now also I'm contributing to open source, what I do is I attentively listen to all the classes in the morning. So till 7, basically all my labs and stuff are over. So till 7, I put full attention into my cuts. I even study during the, during the breaks between two classes. Like usually none of my classes are continuous. So I get 1 or 2 hours between the classes, and I just, if I have to revise anything for my tests, so I do it in that time. And then in the evenings, I usually give for development or like any other thing that I have to do for open source or anything.
Okay, that's really good. I think even for those who are not doing open source, it's very good advice. So, all
Excuse me, can
right.
I ask one thing?
Yeah, you can go ahead, ask it. Yeah.
Okay, actually wanted to ask from Sayani, like, in what area did she work in open source?
So you want to know what year I worked in like Outreachy or I started open source?
Yeah, I want to know, in what area you worked in open source.
Oh, so my project was basically it was basically a bit of testing of the Java binaries, which we usually use in the Eclipse IDE and other Java projects. So it was, I won't say it was web development oriented. It was a bit of like unconventional, using a bit of APIs, in which, of course, web development helped me. APIs like I use many APIs like Twitter API, GitHub APIs, and also Python. My tech stack basically involved Python, JavaScript, bit of React, little bit of Java, and shell scripting and Docker.
Okay, okay.
But
Thank you so
don't
much.
worry,
Yeah.
but don't worry. There are like large number of projects which even require till React in Outreachy. So you can just go through the list in Outreachy or GSoC. They usually have the tech stack mentioned also.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
So is it necessary like we need to have a proper idea of all the skills or those Java and JavaScript or
No,
like
no, no, no. Actually, I didn't know. I didn't know shell scripting. Like knew shell scripting, but the other libraries like Ant libraries and stuff, I didn't actually know that. I even didn't know anything about Docker. So I learned the little bit of Docker, whatever was required in my project during the tenure itself, and even the Ant scripting and stuff. That also I refer to the